Hello, welcome back to the second part of Team Fortress TV's series of ETF2L playoff contenders interviews. My name is still Sideshow, and tonight I'm going to be talking to IPZIE, War, and SVMZI, the Pocket, Demo, and Scout respectively from Übersexuals. This team was pegged as a new European super team at the beginning of the season 19, but has been a lot closer for them than expected. How do you feel your season went overall?
Good. I think we had a shaky start at the beginning of the season. At the preseason, our scrims results were really good, so we thought like we took it as an indicator of how our season's gonna be, and then we tried to change our play style accordingly to have some, like, how do you say, educational value out of the season. Is that correct? Yeah. And I don't know, it was just not a natural thing for us to do. We learned some things, but we tried to do things that are completely like alien to us basically, and it fucked us over for like 2 weeks or a bit longer mindset wise. And I think since then we also took like some sort of like a bit of an easier approach to it, which is obviously sometimes not good, but I think overall it liberated the team a bit to like get away from this whole mix-up and 4G thing, you know, that we tried to do.
So, am I right in saying that before the season, or just at the beginning of the season, you guys were smashing your way through your PCWs and scrims, and you didn't drop a map, pretty much?
Yeah, but everybody has that. It's like the honeymoon period where everybody just hits every shot and everything seems to work no matter what you try.
It's happening to Katie's team right now.
Pretty much.
I think they have like good results, but it also has to do with no one knowing what they are doing. Like, we've never played these people. And I think BK had like bad results against them. We got smashed last night when we had like our brain day off basically. And yeah, I think like this dominating scrim pre-season scrims also has to do with everyone being shit basically. Such a like there's no cohesion, no chemistry in any team yet, right? Yeah. So if you gathered the arguably 5 best DMers and the best medic, you're obviously going to have it a bit easier than someone who just gets up the ranks.
And so, as you went into the beginning of your season, you guys arguably had the most difficult beginning to your season, having to face LBC and BK right at the beginning there. And it was a little bit shaky. You got taken to a golden cap once by BK and then twice by LBC. And LBC won one of those. What was going through your mind throughout those games?
I think we kind of underestimated LBC. Like, we didn't expect him to actually put up that much of a fight, and so we had to learn a lesson the hard way, I guess. Yeah, that was pretty much my impression I got from the game.
Did that rock you a little bit for going through the rest of the season?
I don't know. It wasn't that bad. I mean, obviously we wanted to win those 2 maps as well, but in the end we pretty much lost 1 golden cap and got 3 points out of it, so it wasn't that big of a deal, I feel.
I think it was good. I think obviously from ETF2L points of view and like spectators' point of view, it was a bit weird that these games were not like scattered throughout the season, right? But for us it gave us like a nice indicator and like a nice like wake-up call. Like I said, we were a bit like in this state of mind where we thought, okay, we're just going to play this American style and we're going to act like there's a lot of money and we're going to act like it's land and stuff like this. But I think we just came to realize that there's like still good players out there that want to play. And like, you know, how the Frenchies came in so late in the season, like the decision was made on the last day, so they didn't scrim before, like when the season started we would never really scrim them, and until now they're probably the team we have played the least. Next to eShock, so like the French playstyle is completely like, I don't know, unknown. Not anymore, but it was at that time. So we just underestimated them really, and I don't do that now. I think like they can give us a nice match in when they play us in second place.
So just jumping forwards a little bit, what's your confidence levels as you're going into the playoffs? You're saying that you're wary of LBC and you think that they'll give you a good game. There's obviously a bit of respect there, but are you still confident in your ability to come out on top?
Yeah, I'm not really bothered. I think it'll be easy. And yeah, that's it. Like, during the officials against BK, like, we were never really out of control of the entire map. We've always been in control, and I think during like officials and stuff, it would just be better. Like we're pretty much on top of them most of the time in PCWs, so that will just transfer more into officials a little bit more, and I feel that they can get a little bit rocked a lot easier in an official scenario, so not really too fast. I don't think LBC will get through, to be honest. I think it'll be BK that we end up playing in the finals, so...
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you, Ips and SVMZI, do you disagree with that? Do you agree with the BK versus LBC prediction there from War?
I don't know. It's a tough call, to be honest. I think it really depends what happens on the day. Like, I think they're both sharing maps with each other whenever they play them, at least in PCWs. And I think the game during the season also was really close. So it's really hard to tell. And I think like it won't be that easy as War describes it right now. Like, we really have to play good so we can win it.
It's gonna be easy for War. It's gonna be tough for us, the rest of us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you feel like you've been kind of put into a strange position in that you don't know who you're actually going to be facing in the grand final? Like LBC and BK are both going into the playoffs knowing that exactly the order of the teams that they're going to have to face. Do you think it makes it more difficult on you to prepare?
No.
We know how they all play, so it doesn't really matter.
And they play exactly the same, pretty much.
Like they both play really shit and retardedly, so it doesn't really bother us. Like, we're not going to be like, oh shit, these guys have a completely different game plan to them and stuff like that. We'll know what to expect.
Yeah, like that's what I see as well. They play like BK adjusted their play style. They talk to you about this in their interview, how they sacrifice their pocket and roamer now for room for Zebo, so he gets more frags, and for Rip, he was a bit like, I felt like he was just like watching from the side when they would play. Even though I think he's their strongest player, you know what I mean? Like in their team, he's the most experienced, and also always rated Rip. But during the season, I felt like he was a bit, I don't know, playing in the shadow of other people. Like that one, like for example, Zebo got a lot of attention for his frags and stuff like this. But Rip is always very consistent. And now that he gets more heals, I think this team overall is going to get better. But then they will end up being exactly the same team as the Frenchies are in terms of playstyle. Like obviously the details are like a bit different, but
yeah,
the overall concept stays the same.
Do you think it's too little too late for them to switch a week before the playoff?
No, I don't think so. Like, they're doing pretty well right now. I think the switch kind of came just in time, to be honest. Yeah, I think it was a good decision and will help them a lot.
And just to turn the focus back to your team as well, how would you describe your kind of play style? What do you like to do compared to these other teams?
We shouldn't talk about that on stream. Like, we are that keen. We can't tell tactics, you know. Apparently, we are the only team with strategies and tactics and with brains. So
even though our strat against BK on Snakewater was let Ems air shot us so we can get to the fucking demo and medic. Like, what the fuck is going on? That's what we did.
That's how deep our strategies are. How well thought.
Yeah, like, what can I say? I think, and again, to come back to the BK interview, Zebo and Herpy described this very well. They are like some sort of like a dirty team, like as LBCs as well in terms of style, you know, like less controlled, high risk, very high reward at times, but also like no reward. It's high odds basically that it's not going to work because it's so uncontrolled. And I think like with me strongly main calling, with Miralyn and War like assisting me, we just are a lot more controlled basically. And I think one thing that was good for us recently, like when we lost for 2BK like 2 nights ago, for example, was that we have to learn to fail forward as well. Like, it can't only just constantly go good for us, basically, right? Until we get completely smashed and stuff like this in an official. So if we get beaten in scrims, it's actually good because we learn to take something out of a loss as well and then adapt to it, because I think we lost that somehow on the way, you know. Like the second half of the season where we played the best and where we were like motivated the most and anticipated the playoffs, we played the worst teams, right? For me, the perfect season would have just been LBC and BK constantly until the end of days, basically.
And so you gave us a little snippet there into the kind of calling structure in your team. Can you go into that in a little bit more detail? Tell us about your Mumble atmosphere and how the calling really works for you guys.
Our Mumble atmosphere is like, I don't know, Ibs getting really mad at everyone.
That's fucking bullshit.
Like just dancing around, going, "Oh, Ibs, I'm dying," and me just sort of sulking, and that was it. So it's just sort of.
And we have Carla being AFK. That's what happens. Carla's just not there. Sideshow is now officially Carla's replacement in the playoffs on Sunday.
Excellent. Well, I'll look forward to that.
Look, what I want in my teams is when we have a team that has the aspiration of becoming first place and winning the season, basically, then I want a lot of discipline, and not in terms of scrim results, because we never made up this hype about we have to win every scrim and we want to be Epsilon. But for example, discipline is like people just being motivated to play, people showing up in time and stuff like this. And I feel like for one or two guys in our team that was a bit new, and we had to like meet ourselves, like find a middle way there. But like the atmosphere overall is friendly most of the time. Sometimes I hate Chris because he's just that guy, and Merlin sometimes gets annoying and I get annoying. Like the BK guy said, we're strong characters, basically.
Yeah,
but
I'm a really, really strong character.
And then we just figure out you are a very strong character.
In what way?
You're a bit like because you're like a bit
faggot at times.
Yeah,
but that's not like a strong character, is it?
And like in interviews, you start to talk like slower than normally, and it fucking drives me up the wall.
I articulate my sentences a lot better, so then when I shit talk people, it really
like
they can't
you're wearing a monocle.
It. Yeah.
So yeah, but I like this. See, a team for me, this is the best team I've ever played with. The people in this team that I joined because of the people in this team. I was so happy that I don't have to play with the same demoman for 4 years or 3 years or whatever.
Whinging about his hand and stuff.
And so I really enjoy playing with War. He has his downgrades, but like it's all cool. And I love Kyler and Rising. I've never played with a good medic until I played with Merlin. It was just a new pocket world for me. I can actually like focus on other things than micromanaging my medic around the map now. So it was a bit like, it was really good. Like I really, really enjoyed playing TF2 with these guys. And then, yeah, that's... I hope that we that we get that through like in our Mumble atmosphere at time.
So what do you guys feel like your greatest strengths are? You obviously have some huge names in your team. Bigger names perhaps compared to the other players on the other teams in terms of DM and experience and stuff like that. Is that what you feel like your greatest asset is, or is it your synergy?
I think it's just goals. Like goal is LAN. Goal is not season 20, season 21, season 22. It's just like LAN. The goal is, I don't know, just improving. Like I said, these little steps, like learning to lose, learning to take lessons from losses, is like something that I really enjoy, because at one point, like, TF2 can teach you some life lessons as well in that regard, if you know what I mean. Like, just keep on trying, keep on improving and stuff like this. I think that's what we have. That's what's going for us. And we don't have this one player like bottlenecking the whole team by playing his style and forcing his style completely on our team, I feel. Like there's always adjustments. Like I obviously have a very pocket focused style and like heal focused style, and then War plays kind of that style as well. So we have to adapt a bit to each other and learn new dynamics in TF2, and that's what I enjoyed the most as well. Like just learning to play TF2 again with these new players I've never played with.
I think our strongest point is probably Kyler's biceps.
And it's what's it called? Cottage cheese.
Yeah, and his love for off cheese.
His love for off cheese.
He used cottage cheese like straight from the pot. He did it out loud. It was fucking disgusting.
Oh,
and
wow.
He did it sitting next to me as well. Like I saw him with a pot and I just thought it was yogurt. And he takes a spoon out of it. It was just like this weird lumpy shit that was just dripping from the spoon, and it just made me gag.
A big benefit of having Carl in our team is that in officials, he messages females on Facebook and links them to Twitch that we are getting streamed right? And after the officials are over, then our Mumble like celebrating with us, and it's ridiculous. Like, obviously he's a bit AFK from time to time, and he's not really mentally out of it. But we actually really benefit from this because it's just sick.
So
like,
you could say Kyle is a pussy magnet.
And like our Übersexuals, we just have one guy who looks a bit dodgy.
And who's the
Miralin.
Is that Miralin? You're calling out Miralin as the dodgy-looking one.
No, it's Ips.
Yeah, of course. Oh wow, Sherlock. Yeah, so that's why we choose the name. It should have been Übersexuals and Ips, but I thought that was too offensive, and I would have been really, really sad about
The
that.
tag would have been too long as well.
Well, not for Ips, it wouldn't have.
It'd just be Ips. All right, so
That's gonna be my name.
you guys said that your aim is LAN. I assume you mean the summer LANs where they have the intercontinental stuff going
No.
on. No,
Lithuanian
No, we
land.
want-
the
Switch with
Lithuania
LAN.
LAN, right? Okay, you want to destroy Eastern Europe
Yeah, a team with Evo
and Huey.
and
I
Mike.
mean, we are 3 Germans in this team, and history told us that we should always start in the east and then go through west.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
So there you go.
that sounds like a great idea. Do you feel like this is going to be a huge step up playing with this team in a LAN situation compared to your previous teams? Obviously, War's been playing with Epsilon, so I don't know. But how do you think it'll compare?
As long as people actually show up to our games on time, have working computers, and don't go out drinking until 6 a.m. on the morning of the grand finals, hopefully it should be a lot better.
Not that you're bitter or anything, War.
I'm not bitter.
To answer your question, I think I can answer for Sam as well. I think if this team should actually be motivated enough to make it another like 8 months until LAN is, or like 7 months, then I think for us too it would be a huge upgrade in teams, a new experience completely, because the Infused I went with to I-46 it was, if I recall right, was sucking out completely. We lost horribly. We came like 5th or 6th place. And I mean, Sam ended up on exactly the same position with Reason, getting completely baited by Huey. So the chances of us actually having an impact at these lands is obviously a lot higher, so therefore that's the only incentive actually to keep on playing that long, I guess.
Okay. So, just turning your attention more to the immediate goalposts right in front of you, what do you think about the playoffs that are coming up? First of all, what do you think about the structure of them? They've been changed from a 2-week thing down to a very condensed event. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it doesn't give you long enough to analyze the other teams? What are your opinions on that?
It's a lot fucking better, like by a mile, because I hated the old playoff format because you play the regular season and then waiting for the playoffs is really annoying because you can't be arsed with TF2 by then, and you always have faggots like Hiss that will make it a nightmare for you to schedule any games. People just try and dodge each other and just make it difficult for people to find a reasonable play date. And yeah, I prefer the way it is now. It's a bit unfortunate for various reasons as to why it's sort of, they may feel like they're more warmed up than us. We'll have to decide if we want to find a warm-up game or if we
have
want
a
to.
warm-up game.
Okay, we have a warm-up game, so my point's completely invalid. But
Just out of interest, who would your warm-up game be against? Who is that?
We have Mikey's game.
Oh,
to play
okay,
against.
right. So,
And I am very, very certain that Cadus makes a warm-up mix for Zabu's team, because they have to play at like 6 p.m. or so. That starts, so that's not a regular time for someone to play. But I think he will make it work with his.
well,
voice.
let's try and get into that mix, and we can sabotage it.
Yeah, I like the system as well for pretty much the reasons that War said, but the only problem I have is that you don't really have an advantage, I feel, finishing first place. Like, you're not really getting anything for pretty much winning the season before playoffs. Like, the only problem I have with it. I mean, you get to pick like 2 maps in the final, but I don't know.
you feel like that isn't enough of an advantage?
I think that's a big advantage.
No, to be fair, like both teams get a first ban and the first pick, and then you decide the decider. Like, that's pretty much the only thing you can do. So I don't think it's that much of an advantage, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's that much of an advantage for the decider.
Yeah, that's true actually.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I asked BK as well, and it's, if you had to give me odds on Saloon.tf of you blitzing your way through the grand final and winning it all, what would you give me? We'll start with War, since he seems to have the most faith in your team.
Does it go into single digits, or is it just like rounded? If it's like Dota 2 Lounge.
However you want to express it, or however you want.
99 to 1 for us.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for 50-50.
Against who?
BK.
Doesn't matter.
Or anyone in the finals.
Every game in the playoffs will be a 50-50.
Yeah.
Cop out.
Yeah. I'll just go with Sam.
A bunch of cop outs.
The most diplomatic way to put it. Well, I think we're gonna win 80-20.
There we go.
Okay. So you're still confident in your chances of winning, but there's a very strong possibility that something could cock
No,
it
the
all
chance
up.
is 20%. That's not the strong in comparison to 80.
Oh, that's strong in comparison to War's 99 to 1.
Well, War's
Yeah, but that just means that they'll probably get like a round on each map, the 20%, you know? Like, they'll probably get like maybe the first round, and they'll be like, oh guys, we're doing it. And then they'll just get smashed, you know? That's all that's going to happen. Like, people are sort of bigging up how close this might be, and this is the closest season, but it's not going to happen, because all that's going to happen is everybody's going to tune in and they'll be like, oh shit, is this, you know, I-52 grand finals already?
Through it. Yeah.
Like, Mirilin's going to get a pizza before the game again, and then he'll come back to his chair. We've already won without him. That's like how close it's going to be.
Anyway, jokes aside, I think it's going to be good. It's going to be good TF2, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I want Sunday to be right now. I just want to play TF2 against these guys, basically.
I'm not looking forward to it because I got better things to do than just shit on nerds. But
Jesus, it never stops. You know why I like you having you in my team?
Why?
Like, her P can't be afterwards telling me that I shit talked all the time. It was not even me. Like, you just diffuse everything I say.
Someone
your,
linked
like,
me to something that Clockwork said about me, and it was like, if what was it? It was like, if War.
I could see myself getting angry over something that War says, and that's what Hablu told him, right?
It was. I can see myself getting mad at something War said. Hablu just screeches.
Yeah.
So, in the same kind of vein of that, I want you to, each of you to give me the one person you're most worried about on LBC and BK, and the one person who's dragging LBC and BK down into the dust. We'll start it off with Ips in reverse order. I want to build up to the shit talk.
I think the best player in BK is Rip. I think the one dragging them down is Zabo on a off day when he forces them to play with the sniper for 25 minutes on Snake Water or something like this. Like, if it should go to there. And LBC, strongest player, probably Flip or Flippy. I think they're both pretty sick. And dragging them down, Exxon.
Okay. Players to watch out for LBC. It's gonna be Flippy if he's sniping. That's always a big threat. And Exxon if he has a good day. But also Exxon can be kind of hurting for his own team when he goes into this overextending. I go for my own shit plays. So he's also probably the one that can like fail. For BK, player to watch out. Yeah, gonna go with Rib as well. Like, he's really strong if you put heals on him. And player to fail, I'm definitely gonna go with Nutson. Like, watching their streams, he can get like really pissed if stuff doesn't work out and shit, and he kind of gets into fights with several. I don't know. I think that could hurt them potentially.
I forgot about medics, but yeah, I made my decision.
Best player for BK is probably Nutson, because he's probably got a really tactical mind, so when somebody jumps him and he drops the Uber, there's probably a lot of thought behind that drop. And then when he gets Uber again and he drops it again, I'm sure there's a lot of thought behind that drop as well, especially the subsequent 4 that will happen over the course of the next map. The person that's dragging them all behind is probably can't really pick because they're all really shit. So
On Kaya.
yeah, on Kaya, just because he doesn't really play for them. So I can't really I don't want to single out.
Yeah, because you're not a root guy.
No, I want them to all realise that they're equally shit at this game.
What about LBC then? Give us the truth on LBC.
To be honest, I don't even know what any of their names are, so I can't tell you. Give me a moment. Probably the worst player is K3, because whenever he goes into spectator, it doesn't really seem like he's contributing anything to their team, apart from just sitting in spectator. So actually, maybe he's probably the best player, because he's doing better in spectator than any of their players are in the actual game. So yeah, K3 for the best and worst player at the same time.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for coming along and talking to us, sharing your views and your insight. That was very entertaining and interesting. So just another quick reminder at the end here, this is all building up hype for the playoffs, which are going to be happening this Sunday on the 30th of November. Catch it on Team Fortress TV. The whole thing will be live streamed and the VODs will be put up on the YouTube channel, of course, as usual. Catch us then.
What's up with shoutouts? I still have shoutouts, not only to Bull. Because I promised Ams that I'm going to give him a shoutout. And like, Ams, if your team actually should fold and Zebo realizes that you're all shit, then you can come and back up for us and learn the game from an actual team and how to pocket.
Yeah, we won't bait you for...
Yeah, you don't
like
need to
2
play
hours every night.
Gumbos and play 12-24 stats on Badlands and stuff like this. You can actually get frags. And I allow you to play shotgun as well, because I'm going to be your medic. We cut Mirrolin for you.
And a shout out to Salkes, who gifted me a scatter gun and I accidentally sold it on the Steam market.
Shout out to that guy.